What's going on? It is Monday, and I heard that you guys had a really cold day at -22 about 2 days ago, and I'm so sorry because at the time of this taping, it is plus 22 degrees where I am in Redding, California. I'm really sorry. Thank you to everyone who was able to support me going to Azusa. I am fully paid off. I'm fully funded. My group is still raising money, and so if you still like to get into helping out to send students to this and to kind of sow into what we believe this event to be, you can check out all the information there. But today I wanted to talk about worship's inevitable change on you. I grew up singing Matt Redman's Heart of Worship, It's All About You, and I 100% get behind all of it. Here's what I think the dance is. I think that when we give ourselves to worship, we are inevitably changed in the process. I also think that if we worship for our own benefit, that we can often leave with a subpar experience because we sort of missed it completely. Fundamentally, I believe that worship is an offering. I think it's giving your money, it's giving your voice, it's giving your time, it's your attitude in any given moment, recognizing that your posture is towards Jesus. But in the midst of all of these things, I think the central point of what worship is a sense of cost. In Matthew 25, we get a picture of a woman who pours out a jar of perfume on Jesus' feet. And a lot of people estimate that this jar would have cost a whole year's wage. Now think about how much money you make in a year, and then think about how much money it would take for you to save that amount of money. And despite that weighty cost, she doesn't hesitate in pouring that out to Jesus. A drunk guy once told me, I'm not kidding, a drunk guy actually told me this, that when one person pours out the perfume, 2 people leave smelling the same. I know, that's genius, and it was from a very unexpected source, to say the least. And remember, it's this story that goes with the gospel wherever the gospel goes. Wherever Jesus is preached, this story goes right behind it, following it. And I just think this passage is a prophetic picture of what happens in worship. Okay, one of my favorite verses on worship is 2 Corinthians 3:16, and it says that when we contemplate the glory of God, we are transformed into his likeness. One translation says that we behold as in a mirror. When we hold up a mirror, we see our reflection, but when we hold up Jesus in front of us, we actually become like what we see. So I 100% agree that worship is completely all about Jesus. I just think that one of the litmus tests for worshiping in spirit and truth is, are we becoming like the presence that we so adore? I guess my hope is to remove that sort of unnecessary guilt that says, okay, well, if I don't have this like completely pure meditative moment with Jesus, that worship isn't actually real or legitimate. And I get it, worship isn't about receiving, but at the same time, it's really difficult to, I think, ignore the invitation that's presented to us in worship. People who I've met who most resemble Jesus have learned these 2 things. They've learned to give their whole life as an offering to Jesus, and they've learned to enjoy and long for his actual presence. So those are kind of the things that I want to be chasing. And so the question I have for you is, how has worship changed you? I just don't think it takes faith or courage to just sit back and complain about the church. And I just think faith and courage are 2 things that Jesus demands out of my life. And I'm not blind to the shortcomings of my religious past. I just think it takes more bravery to become the change that you want to see in the environment around you.